And the devil said, "Every firstborn son in Egypt will die." Actually, that wasn't the devil. That was God. Surprise! He just killed all the firstborn children and innocent babies that have done nothing wrong, even killing the firstborn of the cattle. That is fucking insane. Does this sound like a God of love to you? We're going to use logic and reason to show that God is not actually God at all, but the devil himself. Some people despise Donald Trump, while others think he is tremendous. When Hitler was in power, many people loved him. So how can you tell what kind of person or deity you're dealing with? If God is supposed to be supremely good and the devil supremely bad, let's take a look at God's actions and see how they measure up. And the Lord said, "I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them." Let's see what else. Then God said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." And this story is told in churches as an example for religious people to follow and model themselves after. I'm sorry, but if a voice told me to kill my child, I think maybe I'd have some questions. Let's see another one of God's commands. "Now go, attack the Amalekites, and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys." We could go on and on. It's filled with violence, sexism, and homophobia. Here we have a being that is an absolute tyrant, that treats his people like slaves, demands animal sacrifice, human sacrifice, and has no problem murdering innocent children. This does not fit the definition of a loving being, but perfectly describes an evil satanic being. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world that he was God. The Christians looked at this being and declared him to be God. What kind of messed up psychological framework do you have to in order to worship and love such a monster? Remember that Christians teach their children all of these stories and tell them that there is nothing wrong with them. Christian parents have no problem whatsoever telling their children that they will burn in hell for eternity if they don't worship this monstrous God. They tell them that this God can read all of their thoughts and will know if they are thinking of anything sinful. This is mental child abuse. Children don't take this as a story. They believe it to be 100% real. Trust me, I was raised as a Christian, and I was taught all of these things as being completely true. I can't tell you how many nights I laid awake at night, terrified, scared to death that I was going to hell. Mainstream religion is child abuse. We don't tolerate physical child abuse, so why do we allow parents to mentally traumatize innocent children? Anyone that has gone through mental abuse will know that it's just as bad and can sometimes be worse than physical abuse. We're not talking about modern Satanists in this video. There are many today who call themselves Satanists that have actually fought hard against mainstream religion, and for that we commend them. Also remember that we don't actually think the God and the devil described in the Bible actually exist. That's crazy. It doesn't matter that this God doesn't actually exist. The concept of this God is wreaking havoc across the world. The idea of this God is enslaving minds. Let's create a world in which children are shown that they are beautiful, free beings with infinite potential. One where children are not taught that they are sinful, worthless slaves to a vile God in the sky. It's time to take a stand and to make our voices heard. Join us and create with us a free world. Ad Astra, to the stars. Make sure that you like and subscribe and check out my Patreon for hidden videos.
You need to train yourself to become a free-thinking individual. And that sounds strange, but you have to be able to work on thinking for yourself. Because
if you enjoy my videos, consider joining us on Patreon. This is how we're able to move forward, and the more support that we get, the quicker we'll expand. I'd like to thank everyone on Patreon for your support. You are playing a critical role in the building of a new future. Thank you, my friends.